Good morning again, once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are back, and we're going to see what shakes loose in more ways than one. Thank you so much for tuning in once again on this segment of Black Spring with Autumn. I really appreciate everyone, and thank you to those of you who came out in my initial commentary on this morning's piece. So thank you so much. But first, let's go ahead and give a couple of shouts out to our friends over at Rumble, as well as I said we were going to be coming away from the Twitch site and coming off of that campaign because it's no longer viable, and we've known it wasn't extremely viable, but at this time it's not holding anything more than I think 7 days or so. So let's have a check-in. This program is brought to you in part by our sponsors and our viewers like you. AZ Infidel, Derek C. Williams, Melinda, Marcy T, TDOA, Freedom's March, Independent Menu United, Joseph Francis Burton, Luciano, Zero the Infinite, Uncool Paranoia, and Anarchy Television. We'll be right back right after this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and for one last check, let's go ahead and check our status. Know your status. A lot more is coming out about the mocktail, and I'm not surprised. I'm not without empathy, but I'm not surprised. I will say it's worse than disappointing to see so many people that are willing to entrust or to not have any, to lose their credulity in this daytime and hour that we live in. And some of them still, some of them are still not where they need to be, and they will do it again. Okay, so let's have a check here and make sure you know your status when it comes to mocktails. Got no sound here. But we have our usual suspects, right? All under the auspices or frame of quality and equity. SSDG. In fact, I saw Maxine Waters talking about, she was advocating for ESGs on another stream, but we'll get back to that later. I'm not sure I'm without sound on this particular bit, but it definitely, okay, we'll figure that out later. But we've heard this before. We know we have different Z's. So when you go into just for those of you that are new, whether you're a new subscriber or you're a viewer or you're a voyeur, whatever you are, if you go into a doctor's office and they ask you that magical question, you will see the motions, the hands motioning in this formation. It's going to begin with that, a dash, and then it goes up all the way, I think, to 30. We went over that document that came from the codings. I think the CDC upgraded the codings. They have ballistic codings for that. Good morning, Marty Lauderdale. Thank you so much for coming in. Now, as I gave a preview earlier, I'll tell you this morning, we're going to talk about autonomous vehicles and the vehicles in the states that have already, of course, our bookend states, New York, as well as California. California has had, I'm not surprised, out of the Bay Area, you've had this company. This company has, to me, I don't know if it's a pilot program or how active they are. But we're going to go into that. We're going to look into Waymo and the pedigree of Waymo, for the lack of a better phrase. And we're going to look at, you won't be surprised when you find out the pedigree or the infancy. These companies they all seem to have tentacles throughout the technological globalization, the communication, the social media globalization, in which I call those the Facebooks, the makers, the owners of these companies, Facebooks, the Instagrams. These people have their tentacles everywhere, and the nucleus seems to be this one. The brain you'll find that. Okay. So thank you so much. And let me read your comment, Marty Lauderdale. Thank you so much for coming in. Also, just FYI, I want to drop another plug. If you are interested in, of course, sustainability types of gardening, whether there's challenges with your sunlight, exposure to sunlight, the amount of sunlight, and then we'll harvest some of those items, and we'll show you some recipes that are being made with some of those items. So today, I gave you a little snapshot earlier on my commentary. We're doing sun-dried tomatoes today. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Okay. So Marty Lauderdale, stand up and talk too much. Gotta go with dog. Sure. So I was trying to catch up on your earlier video, but only got through a few minutes so far. So no worries. That was a brief one. It was just a segue into this one, Marty Lauderdale. So you're right on time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take you guys right now over to, hand you over to the entree for today's special. Today's special, maybe I should call it lunch specials. We have a lunch special here in which I'm going to share the screen with you. And we're going to go to the company called Waymo. And then I'm also going to show you an example of a real life person, or at least a video of a person who has experienced this. So, okay, so before I get into this, just a little bit on the commentary that I started earlier. Okay, so there's a lot of implications here, okay? Waymo company, Uber, I think Uber softened us up. Like we got softened up to this type of the idea of another human being driving you around to your desired destination, whether it be local or, sometimes you have to go a little bit further than local. These are alternative means of transportation. Okay. And then to me also, when I think about when people write about these kinds of things, or in the past, when people have written about these, to me, if this were to be a plot, this to me, my concern here is, I'll talk about what my concern here is, man versus mankind. I mean, man versus the machine is what I think. The machine versus mankind is what I think we're going to get into, unfortunately, with people falling into the labels or the auspices of safety and security. Okay, because I'm going to find a discrepancy with that right away when you see this person, the vehicle in operation. After I look at this, we're going to look at this website really quickly, and then we're going to look at an example of a person who has engaged and indulged in this whole process. So, of course, I've talked a little bit about the fourth industrial revolution. To me, this is not, of course, man combined with the machine, but they tell you that the disruption in your life when they use these ESGs, whether we're talking about these carbon footprint problems and, fewer gas cars on the road and, buying electric cars and incentivizing and, what they're going to dangle at you to get you out of a vehicle that's powered by, gas. Okay. So, yeah, I'm going to tell you, let's go ahead and get through the video. Let's go ahead and have a look at this website, which I'm looking at for the first time with you guys. And then we're going to learn a little bit more about Waymo. And then we're going to see a person actually take a Waymo. So hopefully that'll be a little bit stimulating for you. And so, yeah. Hi, Marty says, yes, it's a process, Marty, it definitely is. So I'm just saying it's nice to, I'm my conditions in when it comes to canopy harvest, there are it's quite shaded. Okay. So I'm, trying to create an environment where things are fruitful and they can flourish. But then there's some ways maybe you can get around that, but to make the most out of the space that you have to grow. I mean, everyone doesn't have an ideal situation. Clay in the certain parts of the different parts of the country, you're dealing with clay. So you have to find the growing, how to, what type of soil, how are you going to seed, how are you going to have a great bed to grow from the beginning. So there is possible. I think it's possible, and you guys will be on the journey with me at Canopy Harvest and that's 2 words on YouTube. So let's go on over here right now to our actual piece, our centerpiece today, our featured piece today. Waymo driver rides. Okay, so here you go. The world's first autonomous ride hauling service. I'll give you an example here. Their service in which they cover Phoenix, San Francisco, and Los Angeles. Trucking, autonomous trucking and local delivery solutions. Okay, so they've got you 18 covered by the 18 by 18 wheels. Technology, they're going to show you how our technology works, about our history, community, careers. So what I want to do, so of course, the first thing they show you is, you have an infographic here where they want you to be one of the first. Download Waymo One today. And see, this is why I talk about the amount of symbology that's floated around in this country. They go from race, they go from gender to race, because to me, I've said this before in the previous stream, they are diluting the fountain of humanity. And you do that with genders and causing a spectrum. Spectrums are great when I'm picking colors if I'm buying Valspar paint. But when it comes to humanity, I don't need anybody to imagine anything for me that's going to, for some people, for the children, it's going to confuse them when they don't have a background or perspective to even manage that kind of confusion or spectrum. So it's chaos and confusion. And I've said this before, chaos and confusion leads to deception. That's how deception gets in. You can be deceived when you're buying that paint for your house. But you want, when you're choosing a color from the spectrum, you want the purest form. Even in music, you have overtones and undertones. Overtones and undertones exist when you're dealing with shades of sound as well as shades of color. But they don't want you to have anything pure. They don't want you to be pure. They want to dilute with all the mocktails and things. They're taking you further away from your humanity. They're taking you further away from your creator. You will go further away from the fountain. And eventually you'll become a machine. You'll become a machine. First, they dilute your gender. Say it's 500. Telling them I can't qualify that. They get these elite eggheads, these quote black elite eggheads up there on the stage. I don't know if I can say here. This is a spectrum. I don't really know. And they all have this bugged out, wackadoodle look on their face, like telling you incredible lies to get to buy, so you can buy into their spectrums. Okay. And then of course, most people, unfortunately, they're just so itchy. They just want to believe they want to keep feeding the victimhood and all of this, or so they feel like, I have to believe in this person. This person must be true. Well, your isms are going to be the death of you. Your symbolism and all of these things that they create, the symbolism that they created will destroy you. The leaders that they select for you will destroy you. The divine nine that they create for you will destroy you. The task force for reparations, those people are doing that just out of the kindness and goodness of their heart. I wouldn't imagine that they're not getting a cut. Hey, if it never passes, we want X amount of dollars. I wouldn't even be surprised. They weren't the quote black community, quote African Americans. None of these people were voted in, and those are more consistent process, consistent things, consistent ways of NGOs or whatnot that you see in Europe. Somebody in Belgium makes decisions for people in France, or they just appoint some people because Newsom says, they can be on it, or Dr. Weber ran on reparations, so she catapulted herself into a cushiony spot to go down in history and probably get a kickback too. I'm sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent here. Let me get back to Waymo here. But this spectrum of what I'm saying is I'm juxtaposing this AI and taking you from driving, taking care of yourself, your own independence, your autonomy, you being responsible for your own autonomy, to putting you into an Uber, putting you into a Lyft, and now this, a machine actually hauling you around. Okay, so I don't want to go into too deep on this, our history, who they are. I'm sure some of these Move On and some of these progressive companies here. So let's try seeing the road ahead. Waymo's mission is to make safe and easy for people and things to get where they're going. Waymo's mission is to make it safe and easy for people and things to get where they're going. From moving people to moving goods, we're using autonomous driving technology to get to new places. Our mission is big, and our work has the potential to transform lives. So this, to me, we're not talking about the transcontinental railroad here, my friends. They've got you reimagining things, okay? Of course, it was transcontinental railroad. That was much better than covered wagons, right? And the elements surrounding that. Okay, so let's look. So there's their mission, right? They're trying to move you forward. Look how progressive we are. Okay, so if you see these Waymo if you see Waymo on the road in the trucks, that's the autonomous truck operation there. Okay, moving goods. See, there you go. From trucks to last mile delivery, Waymo Via has you covered. Whether it's Europe, China, or here in the United States, most goods that we use and rely on every day get to their destination by truck. Around 70% of all freight moved in the United States travels by truck, making it the leading freight transportation mode. Add in smaller local deliveries to and from retail storefronts and even your front door, and you can see why transportation logistics isn't just about moving the things from point A to point B, from point A to B. It's about keeping the world's economic engine running. So, okay, if you know any friends that are truck drivers, which I do, see, this is to me a job killer. They say, that type of industrialization, that type of tech AI is not going to ruin anybody's jobs or ability to get jobs. Well, I can see where it would. Of course, it's cutting out their overhead goes down. No insurance for the vehicles. Who knows what they pay if you got into something incident with one of these vehicles. No vacations. They would probably have autonomous weigh stations, and all kinds of things will come out of this. And that's a job that's taking a human being's job all day long. If that's what you do for a living, if you did that for a living, you'd be singing a different tune. All these people who think you're still progressive. Because either your convenience will end up being surveillance or total control mechanisms. It says unmatched autonomous driving experience. With over a decade and more than 1 billion miles of autonomous driving experience, the Waymo driver is the world's most experienced driver. It's seen some of the toughest driving scenarios and can make the best decisions no matter the vehicle. Tackling the unique challenges of truck driving, we've extended the Waymo driver's expertise and configured our sensors to address the unique challenges that large trucks experience, like safe turning, braking, and lane turns. Safety at the forefront. Safety is at the heart of our product development and decision making. Our goal is to make our trucks safer than ever before, reducing both injuries and fatalities. Okay, so there you go. If you know a truck driver, I'm sure they would have a different position. They might agree, but they've been fed these statistics. They had to test it via a human being. Okay, this is the Waymo driver, the vehicle driver. We're building a driver that's leading the way for the entire industry, informed by unmatched experience and designed with safety at its heart. The Waymo driver is our autonomous driving technology that never gets drunk, tired, or distracted, of course. The Waymo driver, for those of you who are interested in those 3 cities, Phoenix, San Francisco, and I forgot what was the last city. The Waymo driver is the world's most experienced driver. with millions of miles driven through countless situations on public roads and billions more in simulation. We've gathered incredible amounts of data to take autonomous driving technology further than anyone else. The data to date indicates that the Waymo driver is reducing traffic injuries and fatalities in the places where we operate. Here you go. They're trying to give you a little bit of ethos here, a little bit of credibility. Billions of miles driven, more to come. Millions of miles of public roads, billions of miles in simulation. 13 plus states we've tested in across the country. So, I'm not hearing very much about rural areas. You notice, you see what I'm saying? I think the smart cities and all this stuff. Hi, TMK Media. How are you? So, guys, look out for Waymo, moving your goods. Waymo. That is an autonomous vehicle. It's an autonomous vehicle. Okay. I have no idea what that's going to look like. Hey, but I've got some pictures with that, what could go wrong, right? What could possibly go wrong with a Waymo driver? It's a computer. What can I say? It's a computer. A lot can go wrong. A lot can go wrong with that. Okay, so let's just hang tight here. Let's move on here to, I'm giving you a little bit of a snippet here. Waymo leadership. Now, I haven't quite gotten into who's on their board. Did this start as a small startup? Or are they out of Silicon Valley? Those kinds of questions, because I do think it's a strong possibility. Here you got mapping out every intersection, signal and sign and signal. Before our Waymo driver begins operating in a new area, we first map the territory with incredible detail, from lane makers to stop signs to curbs and crosswalks. Then, instead of relying solely on external data such as GPS, which can lose signal strength, the Waymo driver uses these highly detailed custom maps matched with real-time sensor data to determine its exact road location at all times. So to me, these kinds of things aren't going to be rolled out to rural areas. And then they tell you, rural areas, we don't have, the infrastructure is so bad. Well, look at you. You've created things to drive people back into the cities. Let's see. Thanks so much, TMK Media, as well as Marty Lauderdale, as well as Derek C. Williams at AZ Infidel from earlier. So let's see if we can keep going, and I'm going to show you an example of somebody that's taken this experience on, and on. This is keeping an eye on everything all at once. Keeping an eye on everything all at once. The Waymo driver's perception system takes complex data gathered from its advanced suite of car sensors and deciphers what's around it through technology like machine learning, from pedestrians to cyclists, vehicles to construction, and more. The Waymo driver also responds to signs and signals like traffic lights, light colors, and temporary stop signs, predicting things before they happen. Driving situations can involve hundreds of objects, each with their own unique behaviors and intentions. The Waymo driver takes the information it gathers in real time, as well as the experience it has built up over its 20 plus million miles of real world driving and 20 plus billion miles in simulation, to anticipate what other users might do. It understands how a car moves differently than a cyclist, pedestrian, or other object, and then predicts the many possible paths that the other road users may take, all in the blink of an eye, planning for the safest outcome. So, the Waymo driver takes all of this information from its highly detailed maps to what objects are around and where they might go, and plans the best action or route to take. It instantly determines the exact trajectory, speed, lane, and steering maneuvers needed to behave safely throughout its journey. So the more you go here, they give you more. They're talking about the past. Over the past decade, Waymo has developed single integrated system of sensors and compute designed to compute completely offline. Okay, sorry about that. little glitch there. So I'm going to go ahead and move us to the next section. I mean, this is quite informational. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'd like to know the donors and who's on their board and who's their VP, who's the think tank behind us. Okay, here you go. Takidra Mawakana, Mawakana, and Dmitry Dolgov, our leadership team. Comes from many backgrounds, but they share one mission: to make it easier, make it safer and easier for people and things to get where they are going. Get to know our leaders. So here you go. Our Chief People Officer, Bucky Busich. Elisa DeMartel, Chief Financial Officer. Amar Mehta, Chief Legal Officer. And Satish Jayatondran. Ryan McNamara is the VP Operations. Saswat Panigrahi, Chief Product Officer. And Moriko Pena. Okay, so there you go. All right, not exactly the egghead honor roll, but that I thought I would hear. But there again, I don't know their backgrounds, where they studied or any of that. So let's have a look. I'll move us on to an example for you. Hope you guys are doing well out there. I'm going to share the screen with you now and get you on your way. So look out for these Waymo drivers if you're in those 3 areas, and who knows what you might see in other areas. If you're in the New York area, that's on the West Coast, Phoenix, San Francisco, and the other city that they mentioned. Let's go to the no driver in the taxi car. Here we go. Share that with you. Give you the audio, and here we go.
Yo, this is my ride right here.
You have arrived.
And nobody's in the car. Oh, okay. So I'm taking this Waymo to work. So, and it has my initials on the top.
You have arrived.
All right, hold on, y'all. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, wow. Y'all, this is so weird.
Got a greeting there?
Oh, my God. Y'all, this is so funny that I'm in here. Let me put my seatbelt on. All right.
Please see the seatbelt card for more information. We'll do all the driving, so please don't touch the steering wheel or pedals during your ride. For any questions, you can find helpful info in the Waymo app, like how we keep our cars safe and clean.
Wow.
You can also use the app for passenger seat.
All right, I'm still in the car. It's been about 10, 15 minutes later. So I will say that it didn't get on the highway. Oh my God. No, this is my ride right here.
Okay, so you can't really tell whether it seems to me, she gets you in the car, you've got an automated greeting right there in the dash. But I can't tell if she pulled off before she closed, she either fastened the seatbelt all the way, or was it after? Now, if you're leading with safety and ease, then shouldn't you have a sensor that says this person is secure in the vehicle before I hit gas? Okay, to me, in that case, this is more dangerous than LA Transit, okay? And I know about that. All right. This is worse than city parking transit. Just somebody to take you from a industrial building back to your vehicle. Okay. And then they're giving you a safety briefing. You're announcing a safety briefing before the person even gets in the vehicle and secures themselves. So would it make sense if you're going to give a safety briefing before the vehicle starts moving? I would think that you would give, after the person is in the vehicle, do the safety briefing and walk them through the seatbelt process. Or the car will sense if you are not following the seat belt, if you're not following the safety briefing instructions on this on using the seat belt, that you wouldn't start taking off with, you wouldn't press the gas pedal if you're leading by safety, right? But see, there's no nuance in there. There's no nuance to say, are you secure? They didn't ask her. I don't now, maybe they didn't record it, but I don't see them asking her again, would you like to have another briefing? Would you like another safety briefing? Do you have any questions? That's what a safety briefing is. In the emergency in a vehicle, if the vehicle becomes dysfunctional or malfunctions, what is I want to see the safety. That's why I should dig around for it. Let's find the safety demo for this vehicle. And the people's pendulum out here, we can decide if this vehicle is, you got a long way to go, but I wouldn't get in that thing. Personally, I wouldn't. Shout out to Marty Lauderdale. She's calling me old fashioned. I don't like it. I don't trust it. Lord, what could go wrong? Okay. Also, how much surveillance is going on while you're in there? And that's kind of going to take me down another rabbit hole. If you end up with some type of, God forbid, if they end up with these chips, if they end up with this mark comes, they're probably going to be able to detect your blood alcohol level. They'll be able to detect whether you are intoxicated or not. And that might have you expelled from the vehicle and say, hey, the sensor might go off and the machine says, hey, based on your current alcohol level, we're not comfortable transporting you to your destination. We don't want to be responsible. That's a liability for us to transport you because you are under the influence. Because, I talked about in Schwab's in Fourth Industrial Revolution, they are talking printing hearts, 3M hearts, and they're going to be able to tell your heartbeat when you walk into a room. So do you think that these vehicles aren't going to record this type of biometrics? Your biometrics will be under surveillance. I do believe with the more of this AI that comes out. Marty says, did you see the Tesla that caught on fire and then it locked the driver inside? He had to bust his window out to see what I'm saying? Then the safety briefing, exactly I'm going to look for the safety briefing video if there is one on Waymo. That would be a great rabbit hole to go down, because to me, you shouldn't even be transporting. Waymo should not be transporting people or hitting the gas pedal to take off. If the person's not secure in the seatbelt, if you haven't told them how to exit that vehicle in the event that it malfunctions, or as you said, Marty Lauderdale, if it catches on fire, what do you do? What do you do? Is there surveillance? Are they surveilling your actual biometrics? Are you going to have to submit to a biometrics screen, or will you be screened upon getting into the vehicle? We're talking Fourth Industrial Revolution, people. They massaged us. They got you to come out of your vehicle. They got you to take an Uber or a Lyft to get you from being responsible for your own. Oh, these human beings, they're too dumb. They're too docile. They're too demoralized. We know by now to transport themselves safely, make, decisions, to whether they're going to deny, deflect, and then do decision time, or in most cases, emergencies, people don't do anything. They the bystander syndrome. They sit there and wait for somebody else to save them. Okay. In a crowd of people, that's according to research that happens. But what I'm saying is they've got you massaged. You went from driving yourself. You're not competent to drive yourself, human being. So let's go to Uber and Lyft. Let's give them another driver, another human being to drive them. Now let's go to Waymo, autonomous. And the next thing, you're going to be completely controlled. If you're a Progressive member, that Progressive has a device that they want a snapshot device they want installed in your vehicle so that if you hit the brakes or if you do anything like that, that's really not that much difference than Progressive. I'm telling you, this surveillance, they're going to give you a discount for your safety consciousness, or if you're driving at certain hours, they're going to affect your insurance rates the more biometric and the more AI that they come up with. Marty Lauderdale says these EV vehicles are catching fire way too frequently when they're not even in use, just sitting in a parking lot unoccupied, and of course, many igniting when charging in garages. Wow, that's incredible. Well, see, also that brings me back to more devices like my iPhone, for one. If you've dealt with an overheating iPhone, you know that can get scary. If the phone is not even operation, it's not even operation, but it's hot, it's all get out. Or I've been told that iPhones are expanding inside of people's vehicles. So I'm telling you, but we're on Waymo right now. But I'm saying all of the conditioning and the predictive programming that we see has gotten people more, it's made people more conducive, of giving them more of an attitude that they're going to be more adaptive. They're going to be willing to adapt to these changes. But the surveillance is the ultimate crown. It's the surveillance. Let's see. Marty says, LMO, the numbers of probes are way too high. The number of probes, are way too high to be pushing this on public until and unless it's refined enough to be adequately safe for mass production and use. Well, Marty, I can see an incredible amount of loss of life. If these machines malfunction and you end up in a dumpster fire in a tin can or, an aluminum tin can. Yes, because my cell phone got so hot that it was recommended I put it in the freezer and it still wouldn't calm down. Not to mention if you sleep anywhere near your phone and that phone, I tell you, you might notice, I notice the difference. I sleep better when my phone is not near me. I notice, but it's hard. They kind of got you addicted to it. It's like if the phone overheats. And if I've heard of the phone catching people's bed sheets on fire. Now, I haven't experienced that, but I don't want to. But I will tell you, I don't know if there's radiation or whatever. These phones are radiating even when they're inoperable, just like these vehicles. If they're not plugged in, they're not being charged. The phone's not charged, and it's still operating and communicating, or in a idle position. Marty Lauderdale says, "Yep, the cell phones have many risks most people don't know about and don't care." Right? If you told them, they still wouldn't. It wouldn't change. Okay. For example, to me, these phones are really cheaply made, but they give you all kinds of stipulations after you sign on. You still have to me, it's like a covert contract. Once you sign on for, I just got to have the latest and greatest phone every time Apple comes out with a phone, and they want to keep you in that loop. But there's a consistent problem with iPhones overheating. I, for one, I'm familiar with that. In fact, I'm dealing with something right now related to it. I go from one phone that's older that's overheating, and I go to a brand new one in less than 3 days. It's overheating. Is it safe to be in the presence of this phone? What is causing it to overheat? If I don't have a whole lot of apps and whatnot running in the background, it still shouldn't overheat. But I will tell you, the further away I get away from my phone in the nighttime, I do get a better night's sleep. I don't know anybody else's case, but I can tell you that I noticed that the sleep, and I maybe need to journal it or something to see what exactly happens. Is it more continuous rest, or is it more of an REM kind of a sleep? Is it possible? Is the fact that we're sleeping near all these devices, does that keep us out of an REM sleep? Because I do believe people, they're doing all kinds of sleep studies and whatnot. But I'm wondering, do they ever talk about technology when they do these sleep studies? Do they ever address technology? I've even heard of some people saying at a certain point, turn your phone off at night. And I'm wondering if that'll shut down the rays and the waves and the 5Gs and all the crap that's coming into the air, all the waves, the airwaves, the things that we can't see, does that kind of, give your brain the brain fog I've talked about? I'm wondering if that's coming from the phones, as well as some of these other fake and artificial things we're putting in our body and exposing ourselves to. But can you imagine a car that's completely AI? Is it possible that a vehicle could be giving off waves? And then eventually it will be. If it's not, it will be, because you will be surveilled. They will have your biometrics. This system they're going to hook us up to so fast, because the infrastructure for it is already there. How can you write a book on an industrial revolution that hasn't happened? Why? Because you're an architect in it. You're an architect in the installation of it. You've told governments that they're going to have to do a better job. This is Schwab. You've told governments that they need to do a better job in convincing people that this is for their convenience. I mean, I read that in that book. So I'm just saying, operations being possible for them to do operations from thousands of miles away. I mean, you're going to trust some robot to complete your surgery. The robot from somewhere else is completing surgery 4,000 miles away, whatever it is. Marty says, I need to try that, sleeping away from my cell phone and iPad. That's right by me on tray on my bed usually. I'm up and down all night with painful step health. So I watch a bit. There you go. See, that's another thing. It's the same issue, Marty Lauder. I've been doing that. But if you kind of set that cutoff time, say, hey, all this, I'm going to try to do it myself. That's a challenge. It'll be a challenge. Like, okay, drop everything, pull the plug, unplug, drop everything, unplug is what I might call a campaign. So I'm going to put the People's Pendulum out. Let me know what you guys think. We'll watch this little video again, and then we're going to call it. Thank you guys so much for burning a whopping 42 minutes and 1 second on today. And for those who came in for the initial commentary preview, kind of a teaser. It's not really a teaser. I kind of gave you some of the, I kind of gave you a little bit more information than that. But yeah, check out the Waymo website if you're in those areas, and also if you're in the New York, wherever you are, you might check it out, because I would imagine it's going to be done under the same. I think the same premise is going to come up: safety, ease. They're going to try to convince you that this is, the best thing since the Transcontinental Railroad. But is it? Where are you going with this? The next stop will be a chip, a 666 chip, because at that point you'll be in a dystopian nightmare. That's what I'm saying. Your dystopian chip is on the way. So let's go back to the video really quickly, okay? Shall we? One more time for those coming in. So we have a woman who has no driver in her taxi cab. Apparently this video went viral videos. So yeah, here we go.
You have arrived.
Ain't nobody's in the car. Oh, okay. So I'm taking this Waymo to work. So, and have my initials on the top.
You have arrived.
All right, hold on, y'all. Oh God. Okay.
Okay, so you notice right there, I'm going to a little bit deconstruct this for a second. So I'm going to play it here. I'll say, you said, look at that. What does it say? Good afternoon. See, it's got your name and then start. So I guess let's keep going here. I've deconstructed a little bit heavier than I did on the initial one.
Oh wow, y'all, this is so weird.
Hello from Waymo.
Okay, so just a second. So I think it's up to her. I think when she's ready. So I missed that. Do you see how there was a start button there? So I guess that means she has to get it. Assumes you human beings know to put your seatbelt on, I guess. But I really want to find out where the safety briefing is. What does the safety briefing cover? Which one of the doors is a safety exit door? Where is this safety exit? Is that big thing on the top, is that like a hatch that you can open if the car ignites? What is this? What's in the safety demo? Is there a special seatbelt? What if the seatbelt doesn't work? Where is the solution for the seatbelt in the Waymo driver vehicle? Where's the escape hatch? Okay, let's go.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is so funny that I'm in here. Let me put my people up.
See, okay, this is not, I don't know this content creator or anything, but to me, his head is in a very peculiar place, because to me, I would like to see what's going on her individual dash. Okay, I see that this, you see, if you look here, you see the drop off is in 37 minutes, like roughly 2:40 something p.m. I want to know what's going on, what's being communicated to her on her screen.
No.
So you see there, I imagine that was the passenger safety card right there. And she said, oh my gosh, I'm taking this. And she didn't even read it. So do you see how this can go wrong? Because the average, I'm sorry, but most people don't like to read. You have a huge populace. We don't even have functional illiterates anymore. We have people that not only do they not want to read, they do not read. I believe that little card that we just saw was an actual manual. And she started this vehicle. Like I said, it would be nice to see what it says. It would be nice to see what her screen says before you hit start. After you hit start, do they give you the option to do the safety briefing? Or is it you have to read the card and then hit start? I don't know, but I see a lot that can come back on the consumer. There might be a disclaimer that you even have to sign. We're not bungee jumping, but in very much ways, yes, you are. Because we know what's supposed to happen. We know what we want to happen. We're trying to go from point A to point B, but what if something goes wrong? Are you still not, you're not in an airplane? No, you're not. But are you still not going to read your safety briefing card? Are you still not going to read it before you let her hit the gas pedal and start driving you off? I would. Let me be quiet. It would be nice to see the screen. But for our purposes, I understand. He's not in Black Spring. He's doing his own thing.
Please see the seatbelt card for more information.
Okay, did you hear that? Please see the seatbelt card for more information. It doesn't show her. Look at that. It shows it looks like maybe when it's green right there. I'm not sure. Okay, it's directing her, showing her, I think, right now where the seatbelt card is. I mean, the safety card is.
We'll do all the driving, so please don't touch the steering wheel or pedals during your ride.
Okay, did you see that? They made that clear. We will be doing all the driving. Please do not touch the steering wheel or the pedals. Okay, but is it even possible to sit next to this thing? Who would you want to sit up front in this situation? I don't know. So let's keep going here. I appreciate it. It's nice to see how this is. I didn't see her pick up the card. I did not see the screen giving her the information play by play. Is that going to be a non-liability if you don't read these things, if you don't do an acknowledgement? Are they going to say, if we get into an accident and you can't get yourself out properly because you did not review, you didn't acknowledge the safety exits? Is that another problem?
For any questions, you can find helpful info in the Waymo app, like how we keep our cars safe and clean.
Wow.
You can also use the app for passenger screen.
All right, I'm still in the car. It's been about 10-15 minutes later. So I will say that it didn't get on the highway. Oh my God.
Okay. So you see, she's making observations, but I don't know whether she went over this information prior to getting in that thing, but I don't see her even getting in there to be sure that information is consistent with whether she checked it on the app or she checked it on a desktop or laptop at home. I don't see her verifying that where the safety briefing card is or what has purported to happen, what is intended to happen is actually matching up with that. I don't see that. So, how much of your own safety are you responsible for? How much safety is Waymo accountable for? And how much safety are you, the passenger, accountable for? But then I say, I'm talking about being accountable to ourselves. And to me, we do that by reading, rereading, and doing research. But I don't see that in this case. I see her, her initial reaction, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. There you go.
No, this is my ride right here.
You have arrived.
And nobody's in the car. Oh, okay. So I'm taking this Waymo to work. So, and have my initials on the top.
You have arrived.
All right, hold on, y'all. Oh, God. Okay. Oh, wow, y'all, this is so weird.
Hello from Waymo. As we get going, just give us 1 minute to cover a few rides.
Oh, my God. Y'all, this is so funny that I'm in here. Let me put my seatbelt on. All right.
Before expecting, please see the seatback card for more information. We'll do all the driving, so please don't touch the steering wheel or pedals during your ride. For any questions, you can find helpful info in the Waymo app, like how we keep our cars safe and clean. You
Wow.
can also use the app for passenger screen.
All right, I'm still in the car. It's been about 10-15 minutes later. So I will say that it didn't get on the highway. Oh my God. No, this is my ride right here.
You have arrived.
Okay.
And nobody's in the car.
Okay. So there, I think we get the gist of this one. Hold on a minute.
Oh, okay. So I'm taking this Waymo to work. So,
Hold on. Just
and have my initials on the top.
You have arrived.
Okay. So I think you guys kind of get the gist there. But what I'm saying is this is just a step. The next step is going to be more of a full surveillance. And I do believe that the fourth industrial revolution sheds light on what they're going to try to do, how it's possible. It's already possible. So they'll be able to tell whether you're nervous getting in the vehicle, whether you have a heart problem, heart conditions. They'll have all of your biometrics getting into those vehicles. And like I said, by not reading or reviewing your safety manuals or your briefings, doing a double check on your safety briefings, you, and to some extent, I'd love to know what the insurance, what is the policy if you get into an accident or have one of these malfunctions on these vehicles? What does that look like? Thank you so much, Marty Lauderdale. Yes, we're going to get ready to wrap up. Enjoy your walk. I appreciate it. And we're going to keep an eye on this. But I think you guys get the gist. Thank you so much for sharing information and definitely for your astute commentary. Thank you so much. You add value to this show, Marty Lauderdale. Had a great time every time. And yeah, I remember the last time, like decoders. What can you tell us? I mean, we decoding correspondence. I mean, I wouldn't even mind that. All right. Thank you so much, Marty Lauderdale. I really appreciate it. Okay, so we're going to wrap up our conversation on Waymo. You are most welcome. It's just very true. Very true. So we're going to wrap up our Waymo stream, and hopefully you guys will join us on the next time. Yeah, please join me over on Canopy Harvest if you can. If you have the time to get over to Canopy Harvest, if you're interested in just seeing what I'm doing with what I have, or if you're interested in, maybe starting your own little, whether you're doing a raised bed or if you're doing in-ground gardening, or if you're doing it on the back porch, there are bags that you can use. There are growth bags right now. So yeah, if you need help, let me know. But you should just be able to get a couple of shorts up there right now. I'm going to be adding some hashtags to the channel as well. Okay, guys, I really appreciate you. And I'm still going to be building on that channel. The graphics and all that are coming. I'm doing those myself. So this is Canopy Harvest here. Today we did sun-dried tomatoes. I'll probably put a little bit of that. Sun-dried tomatoes. And also the next thing I'm going to be doing is we're going to be doing some sun-dried. We're going to be doing sun-dried oranges. You might want to use those for cocktails. You might want to put them in, I don't know, you put them in anything. You add them to a salad, add them to your favorite, add them to a drink, add them to a salad. Some people like fruit even on, who knows, even on their sandwiches, on their pizzas, who knows? But we're going to be doing that. We'll be doing some of that as well. So we're dealing with mostly like produce and herbs and that kind of a bit. And then also at some point we're going to have another phase in our show, which will, try to have some greenhouse. I think the greenhouse is what we're going to do. We're going to try to do that from scratch. So I think you might be curious about what's going on Canopy Harvest. Also, there's another channel that I'm going to be putting together, and it's going to be not exactly this, but it's going to be, I think you'll get some value from it. But yeah, have a great day, guys. I appreciate everything you do. Also, please check us out on Rumble. Rumble and LBRY is the best thing that we can do at this point. So Rumble, LBRY are most viable right now. And then we'll be going away from the Twitch campaign so much. Marty Lauderdale says I bought about 10 quality grow bags. Hopefully I'll try them out next year. Been down with health a lot, but I'm a fighter. I ain't giving up. One day I hope to do a little gardening. Yes, you will, Marty Lauderdale. Send me the information you'd like to. I'd like those grow bags. I'm using, I have red clay in the backyard, and some other erosion issues that I'm kind of trying to manage right now. But, it's nice to have those alternatives. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Marty Lauderdale. I thank you guys so much for tuning in, and keep an eye out for those Waymo on the road. You never know. You just never know who's not in the vehicle. And who knows, for those of you who decide to engage in this type of transportation, how much liability are they going to put on you when you don't follow their safety briefings, or if you're not aware, if you haven't read either the app or taken advantage of it before you hit that start button on that automated vehicle, on the autonomous vehicle from the Waymo driver. All right, guys, have a great rest of your Monday.